so much. Is it ready for me now? Can everyone hear me clearly? Is my audio good? Alright, awesome, awesome. I'm honored to be here today. Greetings, everyone. As you can see, I got some different things prepared around me because I think the most important thing I wanted to do is just give some backtrack on who I am and my story. And there are things that I hold on to dearly. And, I got OCD, but I'm also kind of a hoarder when it comes to things that are written. And one of the greatest things about the relationship that I've been able to build with Casey and that I'm most honored of being a part of is the fact that we're one person that I know in the capacity of how the universe and the creator brought us together has now opened me up to a whole new fellowship and community of people that I normally wouldn't have met or had the opportunity to build these strong bonds with, because these letters, and it's a little heavy, but these letters, they represent so much for me, because while sitting in a place of confinement and incarceration and being in the wrong and being in a position where I have to suffer the consequences of my actions because I felt the need to have a firearm, and being disappointed in myself because of how much progress that I made as an adult, and going back into when I was 16 years old, I was arrested for violent assault and my whole life was gone. And as a young male, when I reflect back to that whole moment, I basically was living completely in the capacity of corruption and no guidance, no hope, no real purpose. And when I was snatched away from it all for the consequences of my actions as a juvenile, I grew up in West Baltimore in the Park Heights area, in Lower Park Heights. And when I went from the care of my grandmother, because my mom was, on drugs and stuff like that, and my mom got herself together and going back with her mom, I just remember just being through a whole warp where I went from this really spoiled little kid that my grandmother made sure that I went to church every week and, always got me a nice outfit and taught me love, taught me family, taught me the importance of connection to my family, thus giving me something that a lot of young black men don't get. There are a lot of children, period, that grow up and don't have that love of a father, that love of a mother, even, or a grandmother or a grandfather. So when I found myself going in the path that I went, it was part of me that didn't want to go there anymore, but I was too far lost in all the things I was. So coming into the process of even getting out of that situation of being incarcerated, I had to really fight. And I actually found a purpose within myself. And it was when I actually did a stepping event. And I don't know if you guys can see it too well, but it's me in the Baltimore City jail doing something that most juveniles wouldn't did. And for me, that was a turning point, because the reason why I was willing to volunteer and do this activity was because of the difference that I had growing up. So I wasn't nervous to do the whole step thing. Stomp the Yard was one of my favorite movies, and I was the leader in that whole experience, and I trained the guys. I got us like a pizza party afterwards. We were able to get out of our cell more. So it was a turning point when the parents could actually come in and witness at the time at the juvenile facility. So I realized, I like this love and respect that I'm getting way more than I ever got from anything in the streets. And I tried, to really keep up. It wasn't just a perfect turnaround. I didn't get everything right. But throughout my years of incarceration, I did 7 years, I really figured who I was. And coming home out of that, I had a lot of support, and I had the opportunity to be a yoga teacher where I was trained And this is coming straight out of incarceration. So I didn't struggle with employment. I didn't struggle with, getting some type of slow acclimation. But at the same time, I started getting great career opportunities, and so many things were going well that I didn't really take time for any therapy or to really actually slow down. I had my children, and by the time 2020 came, mind you, I have already met Miss Barbara, and I have the advising, I have the mentorship, and I have real support system. Miss Ann Bracken, who I can't forget, is the reason why I know Miss Barbara, the reason why I came out to speak that day. And, I got all my writing things around me because this is who I am. This is what got me to these connections and people opening up. And I got so busy into life that the pressure of life and the world kind of distracted me from that moment of I have to not try to take things in my own hand. I have to trust God, and I have to trust that I can't allow any fears of the world with all of the violence and stuff make me be in a position of forgetting that there are people who love me, people that will support me, and people that will continue to help guide me and push me. And as I continue, to strive to live the path that I've committed to since becoming and changing my name to Akewi, because I earned this name through rites of passage, where I didn't say, all right, I'm 18 or I'm 21, I'm a man. No, I actually went through a process of being trained and learning manhood by other men who understand manhood. And out of all of the names that I was given to choose from, which all represented characteristics that I displayed, Akewi stood out to me the most. And Akewi means poet, and that's why I'm going to be doing some poetry for you guys today to really help you understand why, I actually try to live in that light of being Akewi. I stay out the window. This is called Freedom and Fatherhood. I'm sorry. I stay out the window, watching my children play. I can't help but to fear the senseless killings. The thought of not being able to rescue them from danger and strangers brings me pain and anguish. The other day, firecrackers exploded, and I rushed to my front door, calming once I heard the echo of my girls laughing and playing. I try not to think about worst case scenarios. As a father, I sit back and analyze mistakes I've made, the reasons I've realized I can't run from this pain or those fears, even when it seems to paralyze me, grappling my legs, saying don't move. For once in my life, I have to sit still and watch my freedom from my window. Well, at least a better window I was looking through last summer. I wonder if I'm the only one thankful just to be in my living room and not in a prison day room. At times I get comfortable until I have to report to my case manager. Then I'm reminded I'm not free at all, just on a vacation from the darkest hallways I've ever seen. But like the nights in those dark places, I imagine the sun shines on me. God continues to lift me back up, reminding me I'm blessed. I'm not talking about the easy tests. I've witnessed the devil masking himself in pleasure and false love. Every time I felt alone, God sends his servants in his name who blesses me. As I teach my children love, patience, and righteous living, we pray together and receive that Christ-like healing. I'm thankful for my happy days. I embrace the ones that's bad. I'm thankful for my joyous days, and I avoid the ones that's sad. Freedom and fatherhood. What would the world be without the two? On one side, I'm fighting to be free. On the other side, I'm just fighting to be me. The long run, I'm working to be the best dad my girls ever had. The short term, every day I'm working to avoid cages and break chains. In the perfect world, I would never been exposed to evil. My mother wouldn't have been addicted to hard drugs as I grew inside her womb. Similar to how my first child experienced her incubation. And both these women are beautiful mothers who through love and experience made me a beautiful father. For many generations, born and yet to be, I wish them joy of having a dad and the grace of being free. For if I can overcome all the hate and internal disconnection, There's hope for every lost boy and soon to be protector. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akewi.
And I don't want to forget to thank Barney, Normally, Teresa, Gail, Iris, Ann, Mary, Vicky, Jane, Sarah, Art, and Gail, and Marsha, and everybody else that wrote these pictures right behind me. I want to thank Robin and Jay for the wonderful pictures they were drawing. They brought some beauty to my environment and still continue to do that. I thank you, Pastor Claire, for taking the time out for, every week. I know you had to still do your service planning, agenda, regular life, but you still wrote me long letters normally. I appreciate you so much. You really take your time out and really help me get to know you. And I want to thank Miss Barbara so much for continuing to be what I call my guardian angel in my corner, really making sure that I'm comfortable and I have everything I need. I want to thank everyone who made donations to my Amazon wish list and helping me get the different things that I need because I've been struggling to get a job. So I made the Amazon wish list and people have been helping me get those things. My clientele has been building. So I really, really appreciate everyone.
Thank you so much. We're going to soak in what has been shared. We're going to ask that Lori would play for us. Praying, and we're going to have an opportunity to be in breakouts. Vanessa will introduce that time, a time to be in smaller groups, connecting and talking with one another, and then connecting back with Akewi. So let us open our hearts continually, as they already have been broken open, I know, to receive this gift of music.